Hey everyone, I have Elias Martin from Politically High Tech on the show today. We're bringing you a fun special of our top 10 stories of the year. And we were just discussing how ours are very different. So mine were kind of just my own personal interests. And then, Elias, do you want to explain to them how you created your top 10?
Oh, sure. Hello. Thank you for having me back. I gotta say, this podcast is real. I know some of you may disagree with that, but that's okay. And I always say this disagreement doesn't equal hate. Sometimes it brings a better discussion, a lively discussion, a more thoughtful discussion. But to answer that
Yes.
question, I thought about macro versus my personal interest. And all I'm gonna say is gonna rattle some of you the top 10. So it's gonna be, oh, okay, I didn't think of it that way. And some of it is going you're gonna have a reaction probably to similar of what the hell is wrong with this guy? Why did this made it to the top 10? We'll see. Regardless, it's gonna be suspenseful. It's gonna be interesting. That's how I did my top 10. And trust me, at
Yeah.
all I gotta give her credit. It was actually a thoughtful list, and this has been an interesting year for news. So it's
Mhm.
evolving. I think that's another thing we have to keep in mind.
Yes. Yes, and so the viewers know, did I message you in November or late October? I can't quite remember.
Let me see.
Um,
I could pull that up regarding
oh,
this. Yeah, I'll pull that up. I'm
yeah,
pretty
it
sure
doesn't.
it was November. I'm going with
Okay.
November.
But yeah, so
Yep.
there are some news stories that might have made it on our top 10, but we obviously had to compile this a little bit ahead of time. So by the time this reaches you, who the hell knows what's happened in the world? Because I mean, just the past couple of weeks have been insane. So hard to keep up with the news cycle at this point. But and I think people are gonna hate mine as well because, like I said, mine has the personal interests in it. I mean, I did take some other people's thoughts into account, but yeah. Anyways, all right. So, do you want to start by telling us your number 10? So obviously this is a scale of 1 to 10. So number one is your top story, right? All right. Yeah. Let's hear your number 10.
Okay, number 10, and this is gonna be the foreign one. The Iran nuclear site bombing. The reason why I say that was my number 10 because this is this is a big shift from Joe Biden's strategic ambiguity to the max, to the point that was detrimental to Donald Trump being more decisive.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did some bombing. He completely destroyed the facility. No, but it made the news regardless because Donald Trump is a natural magnet and attention
Yeah.
for news. So, and I think it's very important to know because this is when Israel has gained such a big advantage as well. I mean, there's always been kind of iffy. Yeah, Israel has had an advantage, but this one definitely solidifies it for sure, especially against Iran.
Yeah.
And this shows that Iran was crumbling as well. So I say this is why it's made the top 10. It's macro. It is more my personal interests. So here you
Mhm.
go.
I noticed that we don't really hear about it very much in the news anymore. And isn't it kind of weird that like the bombing of a nuclear site it just came and went? I don't.
Yep, and this is why it's very controversial because it did came and went. But the one that takes a lot of oxygen is still the Israel and Gaza conflict and the so-called peace deal, which I'm
Mhm.
going to spoil it, did not make it to my top 10 because there was no peace deal. It's still fighting. So I'm just giving you that little spoiler right now for my top 10.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's funny because the Iran nuclear situation did not make my top 10. So all right, already we're different. And it probably should have, but like I said, it kind of came and went and I, I guess wasn't in the news enough for me to throw it on my list, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't have been on my list because like I mean it is kind of a big deal. So, yeah. All right. So my number 10, you're going to like I said you're going to hate this. It is the White House updates and the beautification of DC. What do you feel about them?
well, you just said nuclear. I could apply that directly I don't care. It was rich people funding it. If it was taxpayers, oh, it would have definitely made it to my top 10.
Yeah.
Just that monetary detail was important to me. So, okay, this is why I'm with the right. Look, they got rich people donating to this. Fine. I don't care. If it was out of
Yeah.
taxpayer money, which we already been screwed left and right, then I would have definitely said something, and it would have definitely made it. Probably would have been number 10. Would have definitely replaced my Iran
Yeah.
bombing situation. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. There you go.
Yeah.
We're very different. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is good. I was already reacting.
Yeah.
I'm hating it already. I'm sure she'll think mine's great either. But either way, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can laugh at you. I mean, you do what you will with this, laugh at us or whatever, or enjoy this little light version of Pierce Morgan uncensored style.
Yeah.
I was like, what is wrong with these two? Come these crazy top tens. They live on the rock, but hey, no, but yeah, it
Yes.
didn't make it to my top. It is
Yeah.
important because it is a white, and now let me just wear the mature hat.
Mm-hmm.
It is important because it is getting an update, and I mean, this is not
Yeah.
the first time the White House has gotten updates.
Yeah.
Because either to upgrade the capabilities or to even suit the president's personal preferences and tastes. So,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah, and I think you make an important point there because other people that I had talked to that were upset about the updates, they didn't know that somebody had added a bowling alley, a pool, all these other things. It sounded like the ballroom was much needed to host other people, and I really don't know why it's so like you said, I don't know why it's so controversial because taxpayer money's not funding it, and it was necessary. Or just like the flagpoles, everyone's pissed off about the flagpoles. Oh, they're a certain height because of this. No, maybe he just wanted a couple flags in front of the White House, like instead of just on top of it. And if he's paying for it, what do you guys care? And so that's my take.
no, that's exactly right. I mean, even some left wing commentators that nobody against Trump say, I got bigger things to worry about.
Yeah.
I was like, good for ya, because some of them has fall for the bait. All right, just bash them and all that. See, that's real TDS right there. I mean, yeah, TDS. Look, I'm not the biggest Trump supporter. There's a lot I could criticize. That's not one of them.
Yeah.
Definitely not one of them. Definitely big, beautiful bill. I could criticize that definitely much more than this
Yeah.
upgrade. Yeah. Obama did his too, by the way, and people didn't complain about that.
Yeah, he turned the tennis court into a basketball court, correct? That's what.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Are you ready to tell the audience your top 9 or your number 9?
No, sure. And my number 9 is the Biden health cover up.
That's my number 9.
Oh, what a shock. I was trying to be so disagreeable. Right there. Okay, so there you go. We are at agreement that Biden cover up is number 9. It's not the biggest story, but I think this is a big story. And I was very suspicious of this as a true registered independent. I said, listen, look, to me, this is what I say, and this is going to be a bit of a spicy take. These are two old fools, both Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And the Biden health cover up, this was a amateur level style cover up because people notice that she knows in the center and the right about Biden's bumbling speech, his inconsistent energy levels, walking off stage, which is not, we shouldn't make fun of it. But people was covering up, and the Dems should be condemned. And, and I give Jake Tapper some credit, but he was a bit opportunistic. He wait for the dust to settle, then he makes the buck. So look, I give you half credit, Jake Tapper, but come on, you want to make money out of the book. You wait for the time to be quote unquote safe to release. If you release it during at least the last year during Biden's presidency, I would have gave him a lot more credit. So that come on, this is people. You got to have eyes to see what's going on. You don't need to be a doctor to know like he did have issues. Biden, he did had issues, and he should not run for a second term.
No, so I used to work as a CNA, and the patients I enjoyed caring for the most were those with Alzheimer's and dementia. And now, am I a doctor? No. But when Biden, before he actually was even elected, I felt some of his, events, everyone still called him Vice President Biden, Vice President, Vice President, and the way he spoke sometimes, I think he forgot where he was and actually thought he was at an event as Vice President during Obama's 2nd term, so just to me, I felt like he was showing signs of dementia before he was even elected. Um, and I don't really know how to prevent this from happening again. Like, do you think we should put an age gap or age cap on the presidency?
You see, I look, it's with good intent, but it has nothing to do with age. Because there's some 90, 80-year-olds to do it. What we should
Yeah.
do is have a health examination, a cognitive
Mhm.
examination. That should be required.
Yeah.
Even someone as young as in their 30s and 40s to prevent the ages. Because look, there's people that can have aggressive conditions for
Mhm.
40s and 50s, just like Biden have, or even worse. So
Yeah.
I would say just put this a medical requirement. I would frame it that way. Then you got my support. I keep saying like the age thing, the age thing, age thing. No, there's some 90-year-olds that are thriving, even
Mhm.
more sharp than young people.
Yeah.
It doesn't, but that's the thing. At the same time, it does have that correlation,
Yeah.
especially if you've been, engaging on unhealthy habits like eating unprocessed foods, not exercising your brain, stimulating and things like
Mhm.
that. Which I'm not a doctor. Just disclaimer, not at all. You have more
Yeah.
medical credentials than I do. You was a CNA, so I have none. All I did was just read some medical literature. That's the most credentials I give
Mhm.
myself, which is nothing really. You can say I'm a nerd,
Yeah.
fine. I'm okay with it, really.
Yeah.
But then it's the truth. It's the truth. Even if it's offensive framing. It's like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm not gonna say I'm a freaking doctor. But yeah, the
Yeah.
Biden cover what's big enough for me, and I'm happy it made it to the news. But this should have been talked about, in my
Yeah.
honest opinion, at least last year. If I'm going to be generous.
Mhm. I personally think it was elder abuse by his family. I cannot imagine doing something like that to my dad, my husband, anybody. Especially stress. It progresses a lot of diseases and health issues. And then y- the American Cancer Society and others, they're like, oh well, we don't normally do the PSA tests, which would have caught that cancer after a certain age, and he was well past that age, but he's the president. I just think that and then if we do a cognitive exam, I had heard that a suggestion that I like, where you have a doctor on the right, a doctor on the left, someone in the middle, do these exams. Whether they need to be released to the public or not, I don't know, but I just something else needs to be done.
Yeah, no, something else needs to be done because that was
Mhm.
unacceptable. And it
Yeah.
was in front of our face. It was so much hints in front of our faces. If you
Yeah.
would get rid of the partisan crap, he needed to
Yeah.
get care. He needed care.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do agree with that framing on the right. Yeah. Even though I'm independent. See, at some issues, this is one I generally agree with the right on. This
Mhm.
was elder abuse.
Yeah.
He could have been dead. Because you know
Yeah.
how stressful it is being a freaking president. Yeah, that I blame the Biden family. I blame the Democrat establishment. That one I ugh. Thank goodness I left the Democrat Party ages ago. And this is coming from someone who started as a moderate Democrat. That this is
Mhm.
disgusting. You're
Yeah.
putting a zombie for presidency. I'm happy that America didn't die. Some damage happened, but I think
Yeah.
we'd be all right, but still, that was too damn risky for my
Yeah.
preference, for
Yep.
sure. Ugh.
Ugh. All right. What's your number 8?
My number 8, and I alluded to this a little bit, the anti-ICE riots and confrontations, protests, whatever you want to frame it. That's my number 8, and made it in
Okay.
news multiple times. It already my home, my New York City. It's pretty
Yeah.
big there. Yeah, and it's going to continue to happen. Maybe 2026 it might bump up to the top 3,
Yeah.
maybe this keeps up. But I had included in there because it happened at least more than once. The number is
Yeah.
debatable, and yeah, especially the one in California is one of the big ones. That
Yeah.
was yeah, that one. Like I said, I'm for protests. I'm to the left until the riot happens. It's okay. Please do your thing. Contain it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
yeah, I could be that flimsy. So, no, if it's a protest, if you just do a couple of shouts, even block the streets, as long as you got a legal permit, I got no problem with it.
Yeah.
Are they annoying? Yes, they could be. So she's just walking by, trying to be. Or turns out, no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Can come up with something else because that gets a bit
Yeah.
dry. No justice, no peace. A bunch of yeah, where's the immigrants? Yeah, yeah, I know that. But there
I've
is
been
ways to do things. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I've been thinking about you out there in New York City with everything that's been going on lately, and I feel like it might get crazy. I don't know. How are you feeling about everything?
Yeah, it's gonna get crazy, but I'm pretty resilient. I'm good at avoiding most trouble. So,
Yeah.
and like I said, I've joined a couple of protests. Especially the one I was when the police were over abusing their power. This is when Obama was president.
Okay.
But after the riots broke out, oh, I retreated. I hopped over the
Yeah.
barricade with my ex girlfriend. So I picked her up. I said, "We are leaving. We are not going. No, no, no. This is not worth it. No, I saw like a fight happening
Mhm.
5 blocks away. I thank goodness my HD glasses caught that. And I was like, nope, we getting out.
Nice.
No, we getting
Yeah.
out. Nope. Okay, no, I'm no longer to the left. I'm just out of here. I'm apolitical at this point. Nope,
Yeah.
I didn't agree to this. I agree with being annoying, chanting, but not being violent.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
And that's
I don't
unfortunate.
care. Yeah, call
'Cause
me a coward. I could care less.
no, but the people who protest without being violent, without, completely ruining other people's lives in the process, they're the ones that get respect for doing what they're doing. The ones that get violent and disruptive are the ones that give all of the other protesters a bad name.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't deal with, ICE at all here in Iowa. It's not really an issue, so I always think about that, like, well, what would I do if I lived in an area with that? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean it can be tough at times, but like I said, people just gotta have a cool head.
Yeah.
And especially, and this is my pet peeve with a lot of the social media left in particular. They are just radical. They don't live in reality. They
Mhm.
really don't. They're just spewing nonsense with their cute little lines that gets millions hooked into their nonsense. And it's just especially protests or other things like that. It's just no, no, no. You will deal with the consequences if you try to be violent with a police officer, you idiot.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
ways of doing things. I don't agree with the police on everything. I'm not the most blue. I'm not the. I am not for Blue Lives Matter either. But there are ways of dealing with things. Me, I have learned how to talk to police after watching court TV, even studying that online. Have I been
Yeah.
stopped for the police? Have I only been rarely racially profiled? But I handle it by look directly in the eye, answer the question. Yeah, you got to put up with some of it.
Yeah.
But how you address the officer is very, very important. You don't catch a little attitude, try to
Yeah.
be little Miss Shaniqua or whatever. Yeah, or Mr. Smartass, whatever you want to put in there against the officer. You will be
Yeah.
in trouble. You need to learn how to communicate with the officer, even when they're wrong. Go along the process. Ask for a lawyer when the time is right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because acting crazy, acting like a fool is not going to cut it. Sadly, that's why some of them even died. It's unfortunate that they died, and my heart goes out to them.
Yeah.
But this is why parents and all that, especially if you have heavy policing, talk to your young ones, talk to them. I have talked to my nieces and nephews. I have no children of my own, but I did talk to them about how to deal with police because I saw what was coming. And
Mhm.
guess what? None of them has gone to that trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, because I've gave them that talk. But the elsewhere gets it. No, this is the time that we are in. We
Mhm.
need they need to deal with that talk.
Yeah.
Okay, So that's all I'm going to say about that. I know I got a little
Yeah.
long winded there, but I just
No.
think that's important, especially dealing with police officers, things like that. I just think we losing the art of communication, and that's
Mhm.
my big concern.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that I am glad that you made that point because like obviously you can tell my skin tone. I'm not going like if I were around ICE, like I'm probably not someone who's going to get questioned. Whereas other people who are perfectly legal may get questioned, but like you said, if you're just answer the questions, respectful, you can just go on your way and be fine. Whereas if you're fighting, it kind of makes you look guilty and could get caught up when you shouldn't have been. So,
Yeah, is it unfair? Of course,
mhm,
but there is ways to handle it, and I do have relatives that act the fool and they get locked up. I said, well, what do you
yeah,
want me to tell you? I said, I've gave you this advice before, but no, if you choose to be stupid, I can't feel bad for you.
mhm, yeah,
I gave you this talk. I'm not saying they're right because not all police are good, but I say for the most part, police are trying to do the good thing for the most part. There's always that one a-hole that ruins it for the department,
yeah,
unfortunately. So let
yeah,
me
of
just be
course.
clear. Yeah, let me just be clear about that. Most police are just trying to do their jobs. And if you don't like the laws, protest, change it,
Mhm,
pressure your local state governments. That's what you need to do instead of just
yeah,
lashing out on the police because they're just doing whatever is on the books already.
yeah,
And sadly,
right,
some effed up laws are in the books.
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of, like, old laws that nobody even really pays attention to. They just haven't ever been removed? Um, that's a different topic. Alright. My number 8 is the Palisades fires.
Oh, it
Yeah.
made it. I'll talk about mines later. It's
Okay.
definitely the
Okay.
higher because I saw a major impact of that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, I'm kind of surprised I didn't put it higher, but I can't remember if we talked about this before, but I'm a water operator. So every night at my second shift job for the city, I fill a reservoir and fill water towers every night so that we have that water available if firefighters need the water. It, it's a little bit. I know it's a little different in California versus Iowa. Iowa freezes, so we have to have like dry barrel hydrants where they say like, "Oh, there wasn't any water in the hydrants." And in California and they eh, I mean, it's not the hydrants. There wasn't water in the reservoir to feed through the distribution system, and I just don't understand why that reservoir wasn't filled. Um, I mean, there's horrible negligence going on with that with that whole area, but we can talk about it more when we get it to your
Yeah, no. I mean, you said everything well. I'm not going to disagree at all. I mean, I'm definitely not that, but we definitely need some, well, actually, feel free to correct me here. But your work is important. Let me just be very clear about that. Without that, they'll be frozen. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Iowa's chilly. Well, California needs war because it's too darn hot. So it's the exact opposite.
Mhm.
And it's a much larger, drier land, generally speaking. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was just gross incompetence in the state level for sure. And when Gavin Newsom, well, he's running for president,
Yeah.
he better be ready to answer that. And I'll give
Absolutely.
just a little more, but I'm just going to end it at that. He
Yeah.
needs to be ready to answer for that because I'm just saying right now, I am most definitely not voting for Gavin Newsom.
No. I don't I guess I don't know who the Democratic candidate will be in 2028, but I don't see many people voting for Newsom at all. So, yeah. All right, what's your 7? Okay.
The Doge.
Yeah.
The USA, that to me that was important, and I was interested in this. That's my number 7.
Mhm.
I'm surprised I didn't put any higher. But but so much stuff going on this year. I gotta say, it was very eventful for off election year. It was very eventful, for better or worse. Not all of it,
Yeah.
it's good. Let's just be. I'm not gonna say, oh yay, the fire happened. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
But the Doge. Yeah, this is why I'm going to sound very leg. I'm going to wear the left wing hat here
Yeah.
because I do agree with the Democrats more
Uh-huh.
often than not. It
Okay.
didn't do jack, and I knew it was going to do jack, but I do agree with some cuts of USDA, like trans program
Mhm.
for foreign countries. Yeah, I would agree with that cut. Things
Yeah.
like that. But it was like, providing food for the poor and all of that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
for those things. And just make sure that it works. Instead of just giving food out, just keep throwing money at the problem because this will
Yeah.
address it long term. But Doge thing, it was such to me, I just knew it wasn't gonna last, especially this item made it much higher in the list. Counter it. Well, it's gonna
Mhm.
be no price for you to figure that out if you remember what bill counter in this bill, you want to start feeling the impacts of it. Well, some people's already feeling the impacts because of anxiety, but
Yeah.
the monetary medical impacts are going to be severe. You already know that is. I'm not going to say it, but once it reaches to that number, once you get to that number, then I'm going to talk about it because this
Okay.
bill, this is why I'm agreeing with the Democrats more.
Mhm.
Doge, the USDA, I kind of agree with the right a little bit, but
Yeah.
then no, definitely big beautiful. But I generally side with the left and the libertarians because
Yeah.
libertarians went against this bill too.
Yeah.
They joined the Democrats on that,
Yeah.
libertarian-ish because they still Republican
Right.
people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, he had a chance to do some interesting. And my biggest pet peeve was if he would have cut unnecessary military spending, I would have been supportive of it because that's
Mhm.
where some of the bloated spending is at the military.
Yeah.
Because we could be a great military. We got too many middle people to contracts and bureaucracy. That's what balloons the damn costs. It didn't address that at all. So I was very critical of that, and that was good criticism on the left and the Democrats on that part. And I agree with them wholeheartedly on that.
Yeah. So, you're not gonna believe this, but, Doge was my number 7 also. I'm
You're a
actually really surprised.
liar.
No,
Okay, then.
no, I'm actually
So
really
there's
surprised.
two. I gotta make note of. I gotta make note
Yeah,
of the Biden cover up and this.
that's
This
so
so
funny.
far it seems to be the odd numbers we connect so far.
Yeah,
Okay.
which yeah, like, I mean, for anyone who might not remember your previous episode, like, you're a little bit more on the left and I'm a little bit more on the right, but it's funny that so far we've got two matchups. So, um, yeah, I agree the cuts with, USAID were necessary. I personally obviously being on the right, I am fine with cuts from, programs in other countries, especially when they seem, uh, I don't know, for lack of better words, stupid. Like, why are we funding certain things like this? When we need to be taking care of the American citizens. We don't need to be worrying about a Sesame Street show in Iraq or wherever it was that they had that at, when people can't afford to buy their groceries here in America, basically. But some of the other programs that were cut, I was concerned about, and the approach that I didn't like. And I know Elon Musk had said, like, moving forward, we're going to make cuts with a chisel instead of a hatchet, something like that. Like, basically admitting, okay, we were way too aggressive and we need to scale it back. So I'm glad that they learned, but why why did they go at it aggressive like that in the first place? I don't know. So, these are people's lives that you're cutting programs from. So,
Oh yeah, no, I'm in general agreement. Look, I'm for budget cuts. I mean, fiscally, ironically I favor the right generally speaking, but my methodology, I would definitely agree with the left just a bit more. If you, I would, I agree. I like your point because yeah, if you go too aggressive quickly, you might do unintentional damage. If I would say go little by little until you strike gold, then go crazy, then then I would agree with that. I would say find your target, shoot a little bit, and then by the time you hit something, go for it, be aggressive once
Mhm.
you get the target. But the issues. I agree. They went aggressive, just bashing a couple of things. That's how I'm going to use the military terminology. You call a lot of collateral damage among civilians.
Yeah. And
Metaphorically speaking, people, if you can't,
yeah.
understand that.
Well, and I don't think they would have received near as much. They would have received backlash no matter what, just because of the administration and just because of the administration. But um, if they wouldn't have gone at it so aggressively, there wouldn't have been as much for other people to attack. You know.
I don't know exactly. I mean, yeah, sadly with Trump and Musk, I mean, backlash is inevitable. You have to deal with that. You know what you're signing up for.
Hmm.
However, but I do agree with you what you're saying. I'm not, just be more thoughtful in approach. And I mean, I would have been for Doge. It could have won me over with this
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
but they neglect. I mean, look, I'm for certain program cuts too, is the unnecessary ones and stupid ones,
Yeah.
and shoving our ideology down the country's throat. I'm definitely against this. I want to lean probably to the right, shockingly to some people. But
Yeah.
I'm about saving money. I'm more about helping Americans and even legal migrants out here, and
Hmm.
and those undocumented who want to be citizens. Those are the people I want to help, not just this guy. I'm going to sound all right here, and not illegal people that want to cause all kinds of trouble. Oh, that
Hmm.
one with the right 100%. I'm not going to even debate them. And
Yeah.
shoot, it's it. Yeah, the Doge thing. It could have been a good. Sadly, this is one of the things that it could have been a good thing. It could have been,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the execution was just
Yeah.
beyond flawed.
I think that's a perfect assessment of a lot of aspects with the Trump administration. They've been struggling. I'll just leave it at that. We're probably going to talk about it more uh, later, but the messaging of the administration is like 0 out of 10. Now, I'm not saying that their performance is 0 out of 10. Their messaging is destructive to themselves. It's horrible. So, and methodology is not great either. So,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, not going to hear much debate out of me for that one. Oh, this has been an interesting list so far.
yeah,
I gotta say, it was just some same, some difference. I like that. If it were too similar, I would have been very suspicious.
yeah,
Did you aspire to my list? But no, so far it's been different, which is good
yeah.
because we both have different interests. We both have different people, so
Right, right.
as it should be, as it should be. That's the way I
Yes.
see it.
Yeah.
Um, but my number 6. This is the big one: the assassination of Charlie Kirk. That one had to be
All
in
right.
there. That one definitely had
Absolutely.
to be in there.
Yeah.
Because this is just a major. You can call it the epitome of what happens. You let political violence run amok. And
Mhm.
this guy, look, I disagree with him generally. I'll say 70% of the crap he says I disagree with. He didn't deserve to be shot like that. You need to debate him. Debate him. Especially you social media left, not Democrats or the social media left. Y'all were disgusting.
Mhm.
Y'all would just say, "Oh, boo-hoo, white man died." A lot of you, social media left because a lot of y'all were in social media. Y'all people say,
Yeah.
"Oh, what if the black man died?" There's plenty of news coverage about black person dying to generate some response.
Yeah.
And even Latinos and Asians, but let's be real, they didn't get the coverage like Charlie Cook because he was a big deal. He's the one, I gotta give him credit. He made the young men shift to the right in
Mhm.
majorities. I mean, he gets credit
Yeah.
for that. I don't, and I do see it to some degree. So I'll say few of my young Gen Z family members, I'm shocked how much to the right they
Yeah.
are more than me. At most, if you did a political index, I'm in the center. I flirt with the left and the right area, but
Mhm.
I was like, I go to the right, but then like 5% more to the right. They're more like 10, 15% to the left. If you use a freaking scale, it's like, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
well, this is interesting. I get why this is happening because this is why I'm going to criticize the Dems. You have bashed men for too long, and
Mhm.
some of them feel it, and you have to change your messaging on that. Help them with the food stamps. Have tangible. Have tangible plans. Enough with the symbolism. This is why you're losing people. So
Yeah.
you lost me. Neither bashing men. I really don't care what you think because I think some of y'all are silly anyways. I have my own comebacks. I have my own confidence. So I don't need their approval.
Mhm.
However, you bashing a lot of these young men who are don't have low self esteem, not even sure who they are, and of course they're gonna drift away. They're not gonna put up with it. If they have
Yeah.
another option, just so this is a lesson to the Democrats in particular. And look, and now what we have that's promoting on the right, and I'm gonna say
Mhm.
his name. Um, I don't know if you're gonna bleep this out, whatever. I'm gonna say this once. People like Nick Fuentes has been rising to prominence ever since he
Mhm.
died. I said try, and I've studied the right. So listen, he is not the worst in the right. If you think he's bad, you know nothing. I know
Yeah.
crazier people on the right. Nick Fuentes is one of them. And he's rising. He's been rising to prominence. You could say he's gotten fame, even some mainstream appeal now, which is
Mhm.
scary. I didn't think this was going to happen. I've heard of him since 2016. I already heard his
Yeah.
views. Oh no, you make me look super liberal compared to him. No, you definitely wait to the right. I look super liberal compared to him. No, 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 no. You should never killed a nice guy who was just,
Mhm.
I would say, sometimes misguided. He was fighting for freedom of speech. I give him that respect.
Yeah.
Okay. He was fighting for freedom of speech. And the impact is still being felt today. Look how the right is fighting among each other with Turning
Yeah.
Point in USA. I mean, the impact is, man, it's going to continue to linger. Erica Kirk and Candace Owens. The beef
Mhm.
continues as of today.
Yeah, what's the latest update on that? I haven't been um all I know is that they talked and I thought it went well, but then I didn't know what happened, I guess.
Candace Owens hasn't changed her mind not one bit.
Okay.
So
Okay.
she's still investigating this. She's still getting to it. She's still going to continue what she's going to do.
Mhm.
Which there's a lot of debate on that. So maybe she should have made it to the list. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, no, now I'll come to think of it. But hey, there's just so much has happened. So much has happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be too critical. So much has happened. But
Yeah.
Candace Owens. I mean, the right has been fracturing since his death. I mean,
Mhm.
hard. This is the thing with the right. When they fractured hard and quick.
Yeah.
The left fractures little by little, but the right, once it breaks, and then it kind of
Mhm.
molds itself together. It's weird how they
Yeah.
freaking remesh and divide. It's sad. He should have never been killed. I mean, no one
Yeah.
should be killed for political beliefs. I don't care if you're left, right, center, even neo-Nazi, or maybe just lock you up for violent crimes and just have you suffer
Mhm.
there. That's it. Other than that, no, just no. Yeah,
Yeah.
it actually got my heart, not because I agree with him, just because wow, what is going on to America?
Mhm. Yeah. I still can't even believe it. Like when I was watching it, was it a Wednesday? Cuz I wonder if I had the day off. I mean, um but yeah, it's on my list, so I'll talk about it when I a little bit more when I get to it, but um the some of the points that you made were points that I wouldn't have made about it. And you mentioned like you guys killed the nice guy. And yeah, look at who is rising to popularity on the right. That's absolutely not what we wanted. Um, and it's also not what I want. I don't want people with extremist views being the number one voices for the Republican Party. So very disappointing. All right, you ready for my number 6? All right, the abandoned astronauts. Did it make your list?
How could I be less dramatic? Hell no, it didn't make it to my list at all. I said it's sad it happened to them. You know what's sad? I'm just gonna expose myself. I didn't
Okay.
even know that was news. I didn't even know that was news. I was like, wow. I was so interested in the politics of Earth that I forgot about the astronauts. Well, that's self reflection right there. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah. Well, it was early in the year, and so what pissed me off about it is that which I think it was Butch, um he had said that Joe Biden denied Elon Musk's offer to bring them back due to political reasons because Elon Musk endorsed President Trump was campaigning for him, and he didn't want anyone on the right looking good. So they're like, "Sorry, y'all are stuck up in space for a while." And then there was a while where they didn't get paid, but they did get paid. They got extra perks. They got rescued, but like, did you see some of the medical issues that they had after they came back? I just can't believe an administration can be like, sorry, but the guy who's going to save you, we don't want him to look like a hero, so you're going to go ahead and stay in space. And I'm not president, so it's not my problem anymore. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, just based on hearing that, I perfectly agree. I'm just gonna remove the part. This is just petty. You know, this is why I can't say my Mary Poppins. Once it's close to the end, either they do too good or they become too careless, or maybe a mix of both. But yeah, no, just come on, just you could have just done the right thing. And
Mm.
what? I mean, I think I'm happy I didn't pay attention to that because I think I would have been just really pissed. I said, come on, they doing important work here. You're just gonna leave them hanging because of politics?
Yeah.
No, that's no. You could just work with Elon Musk for the last time, and by the time you retire at your nursing home, then you could talk all the crap you want about Elon Musk. You would do
Yeah.
your little book tour about how evil Elon Musk is. I would have been perfectly fine with that. But leave lives, leave stranglers there. Yeah, that's just it's unacceptable. I don't care if it was Donald Trump doing the same thing. This is just carelessness,
Yeah.
really, and pettiness, and yeah, it's just wrong. I don't got much to say, but that just hearing that story, I think I'm happy I didn't
Mhm.
hear that story because
Yeah.
I would have been I would have been definitely bashing Biden hard. Like I said, I have no political loyalties to either too. And we should be
Uh-huh.
very clear. Yeah, and yeah, bad Biden. You know, this is I'm happy you were one term, and I predicted he's gonna be a one-term president. I
Yeah.
should have stuck to that gun though. I was a little wobbly at times, but I said he's gonna be a one-term president. He's gonna be probably like a next Carter.
Yeah. I I don't know how he got it the first time when so many other people there were there were a lot of other better candidates, but
Oh, I
you know.
agree. I would have even settled with Mike Bloomberg as far as flawed as he was.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, there were better candidates, and my favorite, well, she's part of the Trump administration at one point, was Tulsi Gabbard. At one
Yeah.
point, I said, I don't mind a woman. I don't mind a woman for president. I said, yeah, I'm a man. I'm willing to say I think she was ready. She was definitely ready for president, but they
Yeah.
shut her out because she didn't follow the DC unwritten rules. Their favorite. She was definitely not their favorite. She was a
Right.
black sheep.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it makes you feel any better, a lot of like when I sent that around to family and friends, like it got hardly any votes. So you weren't the only one who was not paying attention to the astronaut story.
No. It's just, I mean, it's so much news that happens. I mean, I'm not
Mhm.
surprised I missed like a few things, and but it was a good thing
Yeah.
I know now. That's
Yeah.
all I can
Yeah.
say.
Yep. All right, what's your number 5?
Oh, this one I've been paying attention to pretty close. The redistricting. Yep. To
Okay.
me, that made to my number 5 because look, I mean, California, they already did their vote to no one's surprise. If you've been living under a rock, it passed overwhelmingly with 66% of the vote. And let's see, the gerrymander, theoretically, Democrats should take 4 or 5 extra seats of
Mhm.
California. Theoretically
Yeah.
speaking, we'll see how that goes in 2026. Texas got theirs to the Supreme Court. Indiana gave Trump the finger on that one. They had a
Mhm.
fight about that, and I think another other red state slipped my. I'm not sure Kansas was another. Oh, Utah did
Yeah.
their own weird thing that they actually made one of their districts a toss up, meaning a Dem could actually possibly take that seat. I mean
Yeah.
before it was like 3-1 favorite Republicans, but now it's 3 toss up. Maybe a Dem or another Republican will take it. We'll see. One became competitive with their weird redistricting, but a lot of the red states are doing it because
Yeah.
they know they're gonna lose especially in the House. My predictions they're gonna lose the House, even with this going
Yeah.
through, because they're not doing great. A lot of them are
Mm-mm.
thinking about quitting. Over 20, besides the high profile ones like Marjorie Taylor Greene, which,
Yeah.
to be honest, that one shocked me. She should have
Yeah.
been one of the listed in there. She's been bulldoze him. I could tell with that woman. I said, "Ooh, once you get her bad side, you're really on her crosshairs." Even with Trump, she's been
Yeah.
attacking him. She's been attacking him constantly now.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there's Thomas Massey in them, but yeah, it's not looking good. A lot of Republicans can't stand Mike Johnson. They can't stand Trump.
Mhm.
So that's not good. And they already have that 1 seat majority. All
Yeah.
Democrats have to take is at least 2 of those seats, and I think they're going to take a little more than that. The way things are going, that's my prediction. Could I be wrong? Of course. The Senate, just to be real quick about it, I think Republicans will lose 2 Senate seats, but they still keep the majority. That's my
Yeah.
because a lot of Republicans are up for re-election. They're pretty strong politically. I would say
Yeah.
like three. I'll say 2 are very vulnerable. One is sort of in the middle. But other than that, a lot of Republicans are out there. They're strong in their districts, so it's
Yeah.
not going to really move the needle that much in the Senate. That's just my prediction. Before it was the other way around. I think Dems could take a Senate. No, I flipped this. No, it's a House. It's a House that's
Yeah.
very vulnerable for the Republicans. They need a great strategy for that one. Um, let's see. What I was gonna say, yeah, I'm losing train of thought there. Yeah, but yeah, that's why I've been paying close attention to, because that's gonna make impact. And I think the Republicans for I
Mhm.
got that's why I'm gonna attack them here. Shaming y'all for trying to force that legislation, and I understand I didn't agree the Democrats just leaving and doing all that shenanigans, but
Mhm.
hey, this is why you just. I will say this one on the left was slightly more ethical. Trust me, they are unethical in a lot of things, but when they let the people vote for it, I think that
Mhm.
was a better way to do it. Say, look, they could challenge that court, and look, even Supreme Court's gonna have to honor it
Yeah.
because generally speaking, it favors the right. But sometimes they do. The Supreme Court's a little shocking. They say, oh no, they know the Trump administration is going too far. They're gonna challenge it and say no, not happening.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, if I don't know if the GOP is really gonna come out that far ahead, just because with California as well, and, I I do think it's funny that Jasmine Crockett got pulled out of her district. I think she's not a great person to be representing anybody, but, I don't need to go too far into that. All right, so you ready for my number 5? It was the Gaza peace deal. So, um, but here's the thing is, when I was reviewing it last night, there's still with a lot of these peace deals, I was reading that there are still, like, fights and skirmishes, and, it seems like there's been a lot of violations with it, which obviously is not it's not on Trump or anything, but I do like what I really liked to see and as much as I'm disappointed with how things have gone with this administration, I'm really happy with Trump trying to make peace with everybody. Just can't seem to get Russia and Ukraine, but I liked that he got all these surrounding countries to come together to be a part of this to kind of hold those involved accountable and to help fund the rebuilding to try and make the area a nice place for people to live. I thought that it was a really good example of teamwork of the United States, not just going in and being bullies and forcing something, but actually working as a team with other countries to solve a problem. And I don't think that that part got enough news coverage. Um, of course, if it's going to make Trump look good, there's not going to be any coverage. But yeah, that was my thought on it.
Well, let me just spoil that right now. It didn't make it to my list because the way I see it, it didn't happen. But I do
Mhm,
agree one thing. This is where I say Trump does have some geopolitical competence. He don't get enough
mhm,
credit for it, and that's the thing I like about Trump. He's willing to try to do different things, unlike the establishment ways. And I do lump Republicans and Democrats in there, like the Bushes, the Obamas, the Clintons, the Bidens, and whoever other Republican establishment you can insert in there. He's trying to do something different. I give him some credit for that. I just wish it was successful, and it will definitely replace this Iran bombing thing because it would have dropped down immediately.
Mhm.
It probably would made higher my list if it was real successful. But yeah, that was out of Trump's control because Israel's trigger happy and Hamas was trigger happy as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this was a tough one. That's why I'm not as critical. Actually, I just wish you just get it done already. That's why I could say. But he
Yeah.
is actually trying here. I can see the effort on this one.
Mhm.
I know somebody's gonna say, "Oh, they're still fighting." I mean, they've been fighting for a really long time. You want to go back to
Yeah.
biblical times? That's a couple of millenniums. So if you
Yeah.
can solve that, yeah, you definitely deserve a Nobel
Yeah.
Peace Prize, maybe three,
Yeah.
because that's so. No, it really is such a. No, it's an impossible task.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is such an impossible task, but if you could somehow achieve it through miracle, listen, you get nothing but praises from me.
Yeah.
For that's what I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. All right. I'm ready for your number 4.
Well, finally, the Palisades fire made it to my number
Yeah. All
four.
right.
All right, yeah, that could be a little less
Okay.
restrictive. This is just Gavin Newsom again. You need to answer for this, and
Mhm.
I forget who Karen Bass.
Mhm.
She was also incompetent. Stop. This is when I say stop with the woke nonsense. I think because they say they need enough water. I don't know what caused it, but you need water.
Mhm.
You're a very dry state. You should have a crap ton. I don't know that is
Yeah.
thousands, maybe a million barrels of
Millions.
water
Yeah.
just to freaking put out that fire. Because that was tragic. I actually feel bad for Californians. Normally I don't. So, oh, they silly people.
Yeah.
Stop sniffing all those magic stuff that you got over there. But this one was just really tragic. I mean, it's not just poor people losing property. It was plenty of the rich too, but the poor, they need to figure out something. And I hope there's some California, if you want to extend a liberal goodwill, this is where you could shine right here.
Mhm.
Instead of just speaking good, enough empty symbolic virtual signaling. That's why I get pissed at the left. So you had shots actually outmaneuver the Republicans, and this could be one of them. But no, they didn't have enough waters. Gavin Newsom
Yeah.
playing dumb, and he was being irresponsible. And Karen Bass no better either. And she even had one of the staff members, just to say this real quick. She said she want to save a white man. I said, oh, this is the kind of government you got. You want to save a white
Yeah.
person. I said, oh no, no. This is why I say thank God I have left the Democrat Party because I'm not gonna fight racism with more racism.
Right.
I only
Yeah.
fight against those with power, and that could be, it's mostly white. That could be even a few blacks, Latinos, and
Yeah.
Asians as well. Whoever got power. It's not about
Yeah.
the skin color. Like if I was real racist, I wouldn't be in this podcast. I wouldn't even be here. Okay, which is ridiculous. And the Gavin Newsom, you better get ready because even your own Democratic opponents will be thrown at
Yeah.
in your face. Some of them, those who are really aggressive and those who don't care about making friends with the establishment. I'm sure some of those are going to just bring that out. I say, you sure you're going to trust a guy who let a whole entire neighborhood burn to the ground, literally?
Mhm.
Yeah, gone. And I think a few celebrity friends have been killed. It's very unfortunate, and it's
Yeah.
something I think could have been prevented. I would say, but they
Yeah.
listen to the experts, and sadly, the people have to pay the price. It's
Yeah.
yeah, even though it was statewide, but I think the economic impact was so huge. I have to include it in my list. And let's just say this was last minute. This was literally this morning when I generated this list. I had to go by real quick. So if they, that's on me juggling a bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
I'll take whatever fault that is. You feel free to criticize me. I'll take some of it.
Oh,
Some of it that makes sense. It's like, oh, you should prepare more. Yeah, you're
yeah. Well, and I was 10 minutes late because I had a bird throwing a bitch fit. I'm not judging at all.
right. So, oh no, yeah, it's just like juggling
Yeah.
with two jobs, it could be tough sometimes. So you
Yeah.
already she got her jobs as well. So man, I give credit for being resilient. You got to deal with parrots. I love parrots, but I gotta be careful how I talk around them because ooh, they pick up them words.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They are, just treat them like no child. Okay, be very G, not even PG, G.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no refer to body parts or none of that. Unless I do poopy, change the language a little bit,
Mhm.
and definitely not talk politics at all, and definitely my favorite subjects. That's out the window. Act
Yeah.
act as dumb as a cartoon characters to get them laughing.
Oh,
Things
yeah.
like that. Things like this,
Yeah.
silly stuff like that. But yeah, they're I know you had to go off the top a little bit of the Palisades. I mean, I don't have that much to add to the Palisades on fire. Just
Yeah.
the fact that Gavin Newsom's going to be ready, and wherever who's going to challenge him for the presidency, they're gonna definitely tear him apart, and the media's gonna ask him those questions too, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And even though they kind of favor him, but they're still gonna ask the questions, regardless. So he
Mhm.
needs to get ready about that guy. So far, I think he's the leading contender, but
Yeah.
that's very early. It's very preliminary. I will wait until I would say the beginning. I would say right at the end of next year or beginning of 2027, you have a better idea
Mhm.
from there. But yeah,
Yeah.
so far Gavin Newsom is the leading candidate. But the only thing that they like about him that he trolls just as good as Trump. Yeah, that's great and all, but that's not gonna get you. That's not gonna get you enough votes.
No. No. Well, and he looks like he's trying to emulate Trump, or, like, impersonate him, and then it's like, well, at first it was funny, and then I heard that it was, like, a staffer that was writing all of his all cap locks tweets, and I was like, "Okay, well, it's not funny if you're not the one actually doing it." Um,
How can I describe it as cringe? I know I'll kind of drift off topic for the Palisades a fire thing, but it was but just to say it made it to my top list because it dominated news for at least a month,
yeah.
and I remember looking into that situation. I said they need to recall these people, man. I even push for it.
Mhm.
I'm trying to. I told my friends they need to be recalled because this is horrendous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
The it's well, and that I'm not gonna go into it. There's too much. There's too much there. My number 4 is the auto pen scandal. What did you think about it?
Uh, that's one of the things that, yeah, it's a little disingenuous, but it's kind of anal allowed to some degrees, like certain limitations for that auto pen thing. I think Biden did a crap ton of auto pen,
Mhm.
and I think he's the one that's being accused here. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't pay too much
Yeah.
attention to this. To me, it wasn't going to make it to my top 10. Just
Yeah.
spoiling that right now. But let me hear about why is it such a scandal. I never understood why it's such a scandal.
So, okay. So basically, Trump is saying that Biden staffers used his auto pen to sign things without him knowing. And there is some evidence that things were signed while Biden was not in the White House. So there has been a little bit of evidence, but he's accusing, let's see, 162 executive orders. So Trump declared all of the anything signed by AutoPen invalid, which includes 92% of his executive orders. It includes all of his pardons, bills like infrastructure laws. And in the pardons one, Trump had pointed out that the pardon for Hunter Biden was actually signed by Joe Biden. You could tell with the differences in his signature because I don't know when they put his signature into the auto pen. But some of the other pardons um, were or all of the others were like auto pen. Um, the thing is though is I don't think Trump has any there's any legal standing on, him invalidating the auto pen, and so, I have friends that didn't even know what it was. It's basically like this machine that physically writes a signature, What's kind of cool is it's been a presidential tool since the 1800s. It was patented in 1803. So this is not a new thing at all. Um, and Trump himself used it during his first term for more unimportant things. I could see why if you're signing a ton of stuff, you would want to use that. So it's kind of weird. It's wishy-washy. I can see why some of these things, I can see it being abused. And I think that that's important to make sure that it's not being abused. But unfortunately, I don't think there's any legal standing there.
Yeah, that's always coming at is just for this for that. Well, I think they need to create some laws and limitations on
Mhm.
that because I do agree. I could definitely see potential abuses. If you want to sign, maybe an executive order, you can be challenged in the courts. Oh, okay, no woman should play sports. Or just throw something as ridiculous that has my freaking
Mhm.
signature in an auto pen. I'm not paying attention. It could be a staffer to authorize it. Yeah, I could see the abuse. Someone who was a put shoved their agenda in such a shady
Mhm.
way, while I want to have more moderate agenda. This person want to put either left, or I have another staff that wants to push a more right wing agenda. Oh yeah. Have Elias's name be auto penned,
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, no, I can see it. There definitely need to be more. I would say push some laws on that. And then
Yeah.
if they need to wait for a signature, wait for a signature. I know the president's extremely busy, and then just, or I don't know, or authorize someone else to sign to sign a thing, maybe like
Mhm.
a VP or something. I don't know. Some that needs to be discussed and talked
Yeah.
about. So there's no legal standing yet. That's why I say it could be unethical. I know it could be used and abused, but sadly, since it's not illegal, but
Yeah.
I try to differentiate. Unlawful and unethical could be two different things.
Yep.
Yeah. Being an asshole is unethical, not unlawful.
Right.
Me punching a woman is illegal, but me saying nasty things about a woman, especially outside of a
Mhm.
job, it's unethical and crass and low
Yeah.
class and anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those that it wasn't gonna make, it was definitely not gonna make my top 10 regardless if I
Yeah.
thought about it hard. It's interesting because I'm not the most educated because of auto pay. Yeah, I did read that it was used way long ago, but it's just brought
Mhm.
back to the spotlight. I think since Trump, of course, when Trump brings it up, and
Yeah.
he brings
Yeah.
it up to the spotlight. Love him or hate him, but he has that gravitas.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Is good or bad attention is still attention. And yeah, I just liked that. I guess I don't know. It was just something that I never even knew existed until then. So yeah, something new. All right, what's your number 3?
Well, this is to no one's surprise. The Epstein files
Yeah.
debacle. I mean, it was such. This is the thing. I'm going to be very critical of Trump. A lot of the circus could have been prevented.
Mhm.
It could have been prevented.
Mhm.
This was so
Yeah.
preventable. I said, this is the most epic Trump fail, in my honest opinion. And this is this. Look, I used to be a Republican too at one point, very moderate one,
Mhm.
but this is before Trump won. This is something that you should just release the damn thing. I know you was in the photos, and I say this again. Look, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump was use these two just to make it politically balanced. Just because you're taking pictures with the creep, the criminal, the scum,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean you are involved with the crimes.
Yeah.
Optics, it does look terrible. It
Yeah.
really does, because you're taking pictures of someone who was a crook. That and but the debacle of it, Pat Bundy, where we got the files,
Yeah.
we got the part of files. Pat Bundy made that worse. Oh, and Cash Patel that went, he was definitely murdered. Now he agrees with the official narrative.
Yeah.
Let me just be honest, Trump. If you want to mitigate some of your damage, you need to replace Pat Bundy and
Mhm.
Cash Patel, and get rid of Dan Bongino while you're at it.
Oh, he's
Get the
leaving.
Oh, thank God. Well, that's
Yeah,
one
he's gone.
that
He's gone.
okay. Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm happy you caught up to me with that because I did heard rumblings, but good, I
Yeah.
got confirmation.
Yeah.
Rumblings and rumors don't confirm anything, people. Okay, so good. Well, that's one. Good.
Mhm.
Pat Bondi, Cash Patel, they need to be gone.
Yep.
They're
Yeah.
just very incompetent. Forget about left right politics. The left's gonna chew them out regardless. But if you got some of the right that are questioning and even doubting, you messed up. You
Mhm.
messed up big. And Cash Patel is true. And this is coming. And I do watch content from Mark Dice. I do like some of his commentary. He criticized Cash Patel like it's nobody's business. He's acting more like a social media influencer. I say, yep, and that's a
Yep.
problem as an FBI director.
Yeah.
Get him the hell out. Get Pat Bundy out.
Yeah.
Get them out. Get them out. I don't care. I didn't like them. I mean, Cash Patel already looked like he was on drugs. You already know there was something wrong with him. And Pat Bundy looked like a evil person that's trying to maintain a Barbie image. Get her out. Get them out.
Yeah.
Get them out. Just get them out. I don't have to explain it. For those of you on the left, you're cheered with me here.
Mhm.
Those of you on the right, you probably got mixed feelings. I'm sure some of you don't like Pat Bundy and Cash Patel. That I
Yeah.
could say that much.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, so, we were talking about, like, the Republican Party splitting. Well, there are some Republicans that think that you have to agree with everything that Trump does and everything that he believes, but then there's the ones that will, they're like, "No, I'm" the ones that aren't hypocrites, basically, is how I like to see it, but then you have like Cat Turd, I don't know if you follow Cat Turd at all, gets so offended if anybody criticizes Trump, and it's like, "Oh, really? You believe what President in 100% of what President Trump says and does, and if anyone goes against it, then they're a bad Republican? Go fuck yourself." I mean, so I just hate that. I hate seeing it, and I'm sorry, but, like, the only way to make progress is to call people out when they're doing a horrible job, and Pam Bondi has been an utter disappointment. Like, I got excited to see a blonde woman being the attorney general, I'm like, "Okay, yes, let's appoint some females. Let's see let's let her prove herself." All she proved is that she's good at doing stints on Fox News and actually not doing anything. Harmeet Dillon, the assistant attorney general, I love her. She's doing stuff. She's updating people on what she's doing, and then she goes back to work. She's not up there bragging, "Well, I've got the list on my desk right now and we're going to release it." And then, "Oh, we're going to give these binders to these conservative influencers that we've invited to the White House under other pretenses. They don't even know why the hell they're there, and we're going to make them pose for these photographers outside and make it look like we're releasing these in phases, and it's all optics and all a pile of shit." So and anyone who doesn't call it for what it is, I don't know what, like, why you're trying not to lose voters by being deceitful or being dishonest. And yeah, and then Cash Patel, one more thing before, and I'll I'll get off my horse, but the Brown University shooting, the FBI responded to that, and he was on a freaking podcast. Why are you on a podcast? You're the director of the FBI. You have better things to be doing. Sure, once in a while, not in the middle of a university shooting. Which, has he even been caught yet? So it's December 18th. Has he even been caught yet? How many days later? It's just ridiculous.
Oh no, continue. No, I actually agree with everything you have said. Actually, because no, this is just it is a debacle. It could be handled
Mhm.
differently, and this is why I give credit to Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene for breaking
Yeah.
with the party of doing something that's so gross. And no, they don't agree with Democrats on everything. Look at their voting record. Good at
Mhm.
GovTrack. Go to GovTrack, you'll see their voting record. You'll see that they are not just joining Democrats, or just certain things that they put politics aside, like the Epstein files. That damn
Mhm.
things be released. I do agree with some redactions, like the victims' names or people who's currently working on it. Fine, I get that. You want to endanger those people. I totally for that. But people like the Epstein and people like Trump's name. I don't want heavily redacted documents if I
Mhm.
was them, because if you have that, so no, this is just a permanent fail on Trump. You can salvage a bit here, just and yeah, I know some restrictions and delays that's going to happen because you don't make sure that the right things are
Yeah.
being redacted at least. But I don't want to over redact to the point that it's just like just a blotch of black ink all
Yeah.
over the damn thing. I mean, that's yeah, and I said, and this is why I agree with people breaking with Trump. Say, yeah, this is not about defending Trump all the time. It's
Mhm.
All these women. Do you care about women's lives here?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that's what the people who broke off with Trump, they was caring more about the victims, about doing the right thing, than just protecting Trump's ass for political expediency, which is it's pathetic. It's
Mhm.
pathetic. I've lost respect for many Republicans I've liked sometimes, and I just kiss Trump's butt no matter what. Ted
Yeah.
Cruz, there's times I like him when he breaks off with Trump because when Trump's acting too wild sometimes, but I don't think this one
Yeah.
he's been that great. But hey, Trump is I mean Trump Cruz to me is a mixed bag.
Mhm.
Sometimes he opposes Trump, sometimes he doesn't. You don't have to oppose Trump on everything, but it's just no. It comes like the Epstein files. They don't just release it. As a Trump, you
Yeah.
could vindicate. There's a chance for you to vindicate, or maybe you're guilty.
Mhm.
Let's have that question answered. Not just him, Bill Clinton, anybody
Yeah.
who are
Yep.
implicated in these files. And some of the emails with bull crap saying Bill Clinton was never there. So come on, he was there. That's
Yeah.
fucking bull crap. So this has been such a debacle. That's why it's been
Yeah.
on my top three. Something that I thought I wasn't gonna pay attention to because when he first died, all that. So I'm sure someone killed him
Yeah.
with the way the thing was. But hey, call me conspiracy theorist. You just don't, if you study certain body parts, what I did, just to make sure I was right, I challenge my own thinking because, yeah, you could be wrong. There could be blind spots. That's
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, the person definitely killed him. Come on. The
Yeah.
maximum security thing, they probably one of the guards, one of the insides came in there and just snapped his neck.
Yeah.
That's my conspiracy theory that I'm sticking to because that's what made
Yeah.
more sense to me. And Cash Patel at one point agreed until he got
Yeah.
that job. He's such a mess, that Cash Patel. I've never seen
Yeah.
an FBI director being so involved with social media. It's ridiculous. You are in the highest position in a country of intelligence, and you're
Mhm.
acting like he is just acting like a fidgety 20-year-old boy who's just learning how to grow up. I know I've seen some of the responses in this podcast. I just watched clips because I'm not going to watch hours of it because I
Yeah.
was already cringing already. I said, "Oh
Yeah.
come on!" It was like I don't know. You're the damn FBI director. What are you
Yeah.
doing, bruh? See, you just enhancing the Trump circus. You
Mhm.
proving the left right with this garbage. I
Yeah.
mean, you're gonna give them some ammunition. At least give them the cheap ones. This is golden ammunition you giving them here, and this is proof. Even you delete it, it's always gonna be someone who can pull it back up.
Mhm.
Moron, such a moron. He needs to go.
Yeah.
And the Pat Bundy thing, you already went extensively. I'm not gonna regurgitate it. That's the reason why she needs to go too. And
Yep.
Dan Bongino, just continue to just get out, please. Just be a man of your word and just get out. That's all I could say. I don't have to
Yeah.
add much to that. Yep. So all right, let me
Yeah.
zip. Mm.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I have more to say later. But, yeah, I think I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, President Trump actually announced it for Dan Bongino, so I don't know if Bongino was okay with that, but, someone asked him and he said it. So then Bongino went on X and announced he was leaving to go back to his podcast. So there's been a lot of speculation on like, I just wonder if he feels like he can't even make a difference with the other people, with Bondi and Patel above him. So, but my number 3 was the, like, umbrella immigration crisis. And so you touched on the anti-ICE protests. Um, the I know a lot of people who had filled out that paperwork for me, they had mentioned the ICE camps, Alligator Alcatraz and all that, and so, okay, I didn't know that those were just nicknames until yesterday. They're actually named like something more respectable instead of like Cornhusker Clink and stuff like that. I'm like, "This is tacky and stupid, and people are being held here for immigration, like, can we just take this a little bit more seriously?" Um, as far as the sorry, I'm a little too close to my mic. As far as, the handling from, Borders are Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, kind of the faces of the immigration crisis. I think that they're doing a better job than other people in the administration. Kristi Noem, I did not have that high of hopes for, just because um, I, I don't know. I guess I'm a judgy female, but like, why do you have to look like Barbie every single day? Like, you think I'm out gardening in full makeup? Like, I literally only put on makeup for this show. So, but whatever. Anyways, but I'm not super disappointed in her performance. I'm concerned about people getting caught up that aren't supposed to be. I'm concerned about people getting sent to other countries instead of the ones they came from. I I like that, which the Republicans pushed back. I've actually helped someone try to get their citizenship, someone close to my family, and I know how difficult the process is, and I can see why someone would be in the country for a while before they can gain citizenship. So I liked that Trump was trying to make exceptions for migrant workers and stuff like that. And as someone who knows a migrant worker, they're in their community. It's harder for them to learn English because they are all surrounded by people who speak Spanish. So they're not integrating as well. Um, and I know that's a big thing right now is, oh, we need to start taking immigrants that can assimilate. Like, well, sometimes it's not really their fault, if they're all in this group working together. So lots of concerns with the how the immigration is being handled. However, I do like that for the most part, if what they're saying is true, they're focusing on criminal illegal aliens and getting them out. And I know that they're trying to work on getting more deportation judges, so that people can get fair representation before they're deported or if they're allowed to stay. What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, I did have my concerns about that, and that was for me. I would say, oh, I was going to miss opportunities to bring that up with the immigration stuff, but you already mentioned that for me. Thank you. You actually saved my butt there. But the not even the butt, and yeah, no, I actually appreciate that because this is connection definitely to my eighth item. Not is it?
Mhm.
Yep. I make sure that my notes are messy. If you want to see these notes, it's like freaking like a kid freaking. They go.
I
This
love
is like
it.
you could tell us this was last minute. Look at the scribble scrabbles I had to do. This was like lightning round thinking. But I
Yeah,
think it came out mostly good. I would have made a few adjustments, but I think it would have changed not that much.
yeah,
If I'm going to be self-reflective, but the immigration thing, yeah, my concerns is, and it's been happening several times in New York City, that is raised some people who are not violent, definitely not fraudulent. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the Somali fraud thing in a minute. That's a
yes.
big thing. That's a very huge thing. Maybe that's
Mhm.
why I held back now. I was gonna put anti-ice race probably as my fifth item, or lumping up with immigration. But yeah, the immigration thing I like. I hope he tunes down the quota thing. I think it's way too high already. If
Mhm.
he catches some illegal migrants or criminals, all that, I am for that. I'm not gonna argue against that. But those
Yeah.
who are trying to do the right thing, don't penalize them because some have ambushed one federal plaza. That's the address where the immigrant court's at in New York
Uh-huh.
City. Some of the ICE agents just waited until the proceeding was done and then grabbed them. Yeah, that's very gross. And this is a big. This one here, I criticized Merrick Abbs. The reason why he's doing this, he's letting ICE run rampant because he don't care. He's leaving, and
Yeah.
who knows? He'll probably be the Trump administration. I don't know. Maybe he could be the replacement FBI director. I think that'd be very controversial. I know. Actually, no. Come to think of it, I think he's used as a troll. Put him up and put somebody else. He done that before with Matt
Mhm.
Gates. He used him as
Yeah.
a troll magnet. I mean, Trump is very good at that. So don't be surprised. If he does that, I'm just gonna laugh because I know what Trump is doing.
Yeah.
Pay attention to behind the scenes of what he's not doing. Is I pay attention to the more subtle stuff, not the theatrics. He's very good with theatrics, Donald Trump. But yeah, I do. Give them time to process their papers. See, this is why I go. This is why I disagree with Trump and Stephen Miller. I would throw him in there because he is the boss. Yeah, he is. He's heavily involved in that.
Mhm.
That's another person I will add to. Kristi Noem, I thought she would have been a clown, but she's surprisingly more competent.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. Tom Holman, he's, if I'm going to say the MVP of the Trump administration, I think that's him.
Yeah.
He deals with it. The media attacks him crazily, but he
Yeah.
stands his ground. I don't agree with everything, but he's at least handling his job. I'll say he's performing the job well.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I rarely say about a Trump official, he's performing the job well. I'll
Yep.
say he's the MVP for sure on Holman because he really believes in his mission. You could tell you he really believes in his mission.
Mhm.
Um, Christy Nome, I'm still a little skeptical about her, but I think she's doing much better than I thought.
Yeah.
And Stephen Miller, I think he's being too aggressive. You got to tune him down a bit because I think his voice, his influence has been overreaching, in my opinion. If you want my constructive feedback, if you just probably lower it to 1,000, so 300 per, not 300, 3,000 per day, I think that's a quota. That's a very big quota.
Yeah.
And that's why some of these crazy arrests have been happening for non-violent, just illegal immigrants because they speak English funny and have a certain skin tone. I mean, yeah, some of that racial profiling is happening. Am I going to be like the
Mhm.
far left and say all of them are racist? No, but there's some systemic changes I believe they could do
Yeah.
just to reduce it. Come on, there are a lot of illegal immigrants, especially with Biden opens the border wide for 4 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
and sadly, I will not normally agree with this Trump correction, but this is the one exception I would agree with because there's already too many that poured in
Mhm.
under Mayorkas, the worst
Yeah.
with Biden, the worst. I've been very critical for people thought I was way to the right because of how critical I was of Mayorkas. I said, no, your job is to control the border and let
Mhm.
immigrants look. I'm about allowing immigrants in. Just don't allow, I don't know, the terrorists, child traffickers, and all that. With an open wide border, anybody could come in.
Yeah.
So and definitely terrorists. So that's the thing. So sadly, this correction, this aggressive correction, was needed. I
Mhm.
want it, but it's needed. So yeah. So this is very rare for me to agree with Trump on this, but I actually have to because Biden just messed up that bad that this kind of level of correction was needed. If Biden didn't screw up that much, I would have said Trump went way overboard. I would have been super critical. I would have
Right.
been joining the left wing bandwagon on that. But this one, I gotta say no. Biden messed up big. He got an F.
Yeah.
Trump so far, I'm about to give him a C. Just like a preliminary grade, which
Uh-huh.
is very rare for me to give that grade out early. But that's preliminary. It's not finalized. Obviously, his term isn't finished yet. So I'll say it's decent. For the most part, it's decent.
Yeah.
I'll say that. But there are, like I said, there's things to improve for sure. That's what I'm going to say before I keep regurgitating it because I try to be as fair as I can be. I'm not the biggest Trump hater or
Yeah.
supporter. I got to give him credit where it's due. This is one of them. This is the most competent part of the administration, I would say. This one, for
Yeah.
sure.
What's your 2?
My number two, this one should be no one's surprise. The government shutdown.
Yeah. It it didn't make my list, but I feel like it probably should have. I know. I know.
That's my second strong, vehement
Yeah.
disagreement with my. The rest I get. The rest I
Yeah.
can get. Even the astronaut thing, I get it now. But that was
Yeah.
why was that in there? That could be big major impact. No, that's her list. I can.
Yeah.
I
All
can't
right.
pull the gun through the screen and force it to change her mind. So
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry. I go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The government shut down. It lasted much longer than
Mhm.
expected. It definitely made. I have underestimated this one because I forgot about Trump and how stubborn people has gotten. I underestimated that. Those could be just like a 1 month thing. Everything's gonna be all right. No, it caused massive damage. I mean, damage especially to airports
Mhm.
and definitely people not getting paid. Well, that was to be expected, but I wasn't impacted that much personally. But I do know several family members of mine that were impacted by this shutdown. And you know what? I think they need to put a new proposal that if the government shuts down, politicians should not be paid.
Mhm.
That's something that should be put. And I love that. So I think Stephen A. Smith kind of like
Yeah.
he's center left. I like center left people. There's a pattern
Mhm.
here, people. Yeah, I do generally support the center, except for Cuomo and Eric Adams. They could go away now. They serve their time. But
Yeah.
yeah, when it comes to, yeah, we need to have a new law which they're not going to vote for. furlough, stop pay to these politicians because
Mhm.
they're responsible for it. It's funny that the airplane workers, the military, and essential staff to the federal government get screwed while
Yeah.
they don't.
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me, and I agree with that. I think that's the best point I ever heard for that. People with food stamps are like getting screwed just because politicians can't get their shit together
Mhm.
on both sides of the aisle. Um, one could blame the Democrats more, one could blame the Republic. I blame both because it takes two to
Yeah.
tango. Unfortunately, and this is something that, in my opinion, could have been prevented. This somebody said could have been supreme prevented, but the hyper partisan Trump is trolling, and then Hakeem Jeffries and Charles Schumer, who I'm not a fan of, they both need to go. They have proven that they are incompetent. They operate as if they are still in the year 2000.
Yeah.
This is 2025. You better update quick or just get the hell out. Because I think Charles Schumer's going to be primary. I heard Andrew Cuomo's up for running in New York State Senate, so that's going to be
Ooh.
interesting. Um,
Yeah.
So let's see. I don't care if it's another, I think, well, let's be real, it's gonna be another Democrat's gonna replace him. It's not gonna be a Republican, even though Joseph Pinion, I actually voted for him. Yeah, sue me, put me in the cross for be a little. Look, I don't vote based on political. I'm anti-partisan. That's my brand. I'm anti-partisan. I go by who I think is best. I voted
Yeah.
Democrats on some things. I go by who I think is doing a good job for the people. That's how I do, is doing a good job for me and the people. That's how I do things. Yeah, some things you can think I'm left, some things you can think I'm right. So it's hard to figure me out.
Yeah.
And that's why I got a purple logo, not
Yeah.
not red or blue. Depends on the issues. Like guns, I lean a little to the right. Big money, I lean a little to the right. Social issues, I lean to the left. Things like that. Healthcare. Oh, I think that's the only thing me and the progressives get along at. Everything else, I think they're criminals. Nope, I don't agree with progressives. Y'all know what you're talking about. Y'all on
Mhm.
drugs. Y'all on copium. Okay, they're on copium. Progressives. They would never get me to agree when it comes to the crime thing. No, I agree with the center and the right on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the government shutdown. It was very big. It's the longest ever, and
Mhm.
it did mess up airport travel significantly, and that's what I'm gonna say about it. It did impact a lot of people. Yeah, I think the food stamps there was a fight among that too, so it caused a crap ton of mess. Um, and I've alluded to this number one. I'm not sure you figured it out, people. I've alluded to it a few times, and I will save that suspense later if you haven't figured
Okay.
it out.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Um
zip it.
yeah, no, there someone did introduce something so that senators don't get paid during a government shutdown, and it actually did get passed. One thing, but it has some more hurdles. But I don't think any of them. I don't think anyone involved in that should be paid if they're holding it up because oh, okay, yeah, you can hold up a government shutdown because you're still getting paid. Other people aren't. And I think that this paints all the politicians involved in a bad light because uh, if you had to have a budget every quarter, wouldn't you lose your job if you didn't have it ready? Why wasn't it it should already be, pretty much finalized before it even comes to a vote. Like there shouldn't be this fighting over the vote. I just don't think there's any reason for there to ever be a shutdown. Y'all should already know which way you stand. But um yeah, do you have anything else you want to say on it and then I'll go to my number 2.
Oh no, you go ahead. I say everything
Okay.
I need to say about the government shutdown. I think people are tired of hearing this, so I'm going to keep it as brief as possible.
All right, my number 2 is the Epstein files. So, we already kind of talked about it a lot. I they're due tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see if they have all those redactions. I think Pam Bondi did say there might be a delay on whatever comes from the New York FBI office because something to do with them refusing to hand them over earlier in the year. Um, what is pissing me off about it is the all of these news stations are posting the photo that they're I don't know where it originated from. Everyone's saying it originated from the Democrats on the House committee or whatever. This photo of Trump with all of the pageant girls with their faces covered, and it's like I've literally seen this photo before. Like this is one of his whatever pageants. It, but but someone who hasn't seen it before is going to think that they're all minors, and that's no, it's all adults. It was a perfectly fine situation, but it's making him look bad, uh, which I'm sure he expected. And his behavior about the thing has been very suspicious. And I understand that Republicans would do the same thing. They're posting every picture they can find of Bill Clinton with Jeffrey Epstein, and um, I'm just curious to see what tomorrow brings. I guess with that.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, yeah, so I'm not just looking at the Trump stuff. Anybody who's
Hmm.
been involved, forget about just this is the thing I can't stand with Democrats. They make everything about Trump. Should throw your own in there. Throw in Bill Clinton if you
Hmm.
want to restore some reputation because he's been involved with the foes. So these have that same damn standard.
Yeah.
Okay, because he's been photoed with there's pictures with him and Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, that's why I can't stand. And one of the emails he would try to outright debunk the evidence, which was a fail. Again, it did. Yeah, just release everything, and sadly, this just exposes the news's bias. Because
Yeah.
they release only the quote unquote Democrat side of the story, and
Yeah.
if they were really fair about it, they will release even other photos as well that are interested, with other celebrities instead of just Trump.
Hmm.
Yeah, and this is I think that was one of his concerns. That's why he lashed out. Again, I still don't agree with that. You're the president. You need to have
Yeah.
thicker skin than that because look, just like you got a lot of supporters, you also have a lot of enemies.
Hmm.
And this takes a special person. Me, I'm unworthy of presidency. I probably would have lost my shit in a month.
Yeah.
All right. So he's resilient in some ways, and some things he's just very thin skinned. He's weird. Some things he's very thick skinned. Certain things he's like very, very. He's so.
Yeah.
I think metaphorically, his skin thickness changes. Like the variables are just wild with that one. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's just oh god, yeah, the Epstein files. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm not surprised it made to your top. I mean, it was very large news.
Yeah.
And I just want those people just to have some closure, because there's been a lot of victims.
Yeah.
All women. Do we care about women?
Right.
Come
Yep.
on. I mean, I don't want to sound like a virtual signaling, but come on, all the victims, and it's true. This is why I say Piers Morgan's the smartest idiot. He makes a very profound point. Every once in a while, say, yeah, the only one got locked up was a woman, Ghislaine Maxwell. Yet
Yeah.
the men that are involved with it, they're just what add words, just have tarnished reputation. That's not good enough. Lock
Right.
them up, seize their assets. Damn it, held them
Yeah.
accountable. That's
Yeah.
all. That's all
It's
I gotta say. I'm done.
yeah. I will say it. My number one is kind of a placeholder. And we'll get there in a minute. It's so Epstein probably would be number one, but it's been extremely disappointing to hear all these promises that we're going to. And the other thing is like i- the people from the administration have said like, well, it's not like an actual list of names. No one's expecting Epstein to have written an actual list of names of all of his clients. We're expecting the digital evidence, photos, video, etc., of people that were engaged in that behavior. We're not looking for a little black book of Epstein's. That's not what we're asking for. So, but I'm done with it. So,
I don't blame you. I mean, as much as I find the news exciting, it's also exhausting because it drags out.
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't just apply to Epstein. It's definitely applying to other stories, and this does relate to my number one, even though this
Yeah.
is already passed. I mean, if you want me to go ahead, or
Go ahead. Yeah.
the big beautiful bill that made it to my number one because even though yeah it just passed, but we definitely gonna feel the consequences
Mhm.
next year, especially to 2027. We're gonna feel that, and to me, that's got the most massive impact out of, to me, my opinion, all the things I have talked about. So yeah, that one now to me, that was the most non-negotiable. Yeah, the big beautiful bill. Some
Mhm.
people may think it differently. That's fine. But SNAP cuts, Medicaid cuts, these are huge, huge cuts, and they're gonna affect I would say so far Trump's policy has affected red states more negatively. That's why he's losing support than the blue states, because blue states, and this is why I give Kathy Hochul credit. There's some backup money for it. Good. I said think of backup because when things go crazy, you don't know.
Mhm.
But it came to this big beautiful bill. Yep. No state that relies on these dollars are going to be spared. That includes New York and California and other
Yeah.
states that heavily rely on the federal government for Medicaid, SNAP, all that. Everyone's gonna be impacted by that one, and I do feel sad. I do feel really bad for those who are undeveloped and underfunded already. They're gonna close down. There are some in New York. I mean, Brooklyn, the borough. They're already going they're already going through hospital shutdowns and all that, and I think
Mhm.
that's going to make it even worse. They're already struggling as is. For those who are alive now, they're on life support, and once that's cut,
Yeah.
I think the consequence is going to be even more dire for Brooklyn, for Brooklyn residents. Let's give you a little local spin to which I rarely do, but that's come from a federal bill that's pushed
Yeah.
by most Republicans, maybe with Libertarian and Democrat opposition, near universal Libertarian Democrat opposition. So, yep, that's
Yeah.
my number one because the impacts are going to be very severe, and I just think ahead. And to me, that's the biggest news, and people still talking about it
Yeah. Yeah.
consistently. So,
Yep. Yeah, I did not have it on my list, because my opinion on it has changed as I've learned more about it. I was very for the no tax on tips, overtime, and, Social Security. Um, those also could have been introduced as standalone bills, which I do believe no tax on tips might have been a separate one. Um, what upsets me is that it's only to a certain point. Like, it's not like and I don't know enough about it to quote it, but, apparently after you make so much, it's still taxed or something like that. I just don't think overtime should ever be taxed. Like, I'm already paying in my 40 hours. Why are you taking 30% of the extra I'm paying in? Like, but we'll see what happens with it.
oh
So,
yeah, not that. Yeah, I did hear about that policy here. Yeah, no tax on overtime all day. I'm all for it. Obviously, I mean, who's not? I don't know. Someone wants to give to charity all the time. I don't know. Maybe those rich folks. Well, you tax them more, not us.
yeah.
We ain't. Look, we all. I say for anyone who's not a millionaire, but we had thousandaires or whatever the heck it is, or upper
Mhm.
middle class, whatever. Yeah, we the ones that suffer the most with these taxations, even more than the poor. The poor don't got enough to tax. They
Yeah.
got their own struggles to begin with. Let me not dismiss that as well. Yeah, now for me, the big beautiful bill. That's my number one, and should be no surprise to many of you. I didn't talk about my podcast because I had so much guests talking about more interesting stuff. But hey, I'll share with you one big beautiful bill. I call it the big ugly bill because I just think the cuts are drastic. You could have done cuts somewhere else. Like I said, a
Mhm.
bloated military. You could have trimmed as much fat from some of the fat from that at least and mitigate the severity of that. Like I said, not just quality weapons or that. I'm all for it in paying the military people. I'm talking like the middle people, the contractors are the ones that should get that cut. That's my specific cut right
Okay.
there. And I'm going to keep saying that. Do I
Yeah.
think we need a strong military? Oh, absolutely. I agree with the right on that one. Military, I agree
Yeah.
with the right. We need a strong military to defend our nation. I'm all for it. It's just, yeah, keep cutting for those who need these benefits. My criticism on the methodology, not on what you're trying to do. I kind
Mhm.
of agree with Republicans what you're trying to do. The methodology, how you go about, is where I have a problem with. Normally, that's the same thing I said about the Doge and
Yeah.
the USAID to a lesser extent because they did cut a lot of things I agree with, like the transgender stuff for foreign nations. Excuse
Yeah.
me, we don't need to be funding that crap. Here, I got my own little take on that. But in foreign countries, no. Let them figure out if they want that or not. That
Yeah.
shouldn't be that should be us shoving that down people's throats.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tend to shove things down other people's throats, especially when it comes to like geopolitical conflicts, like the ones in the Middle East. We have a very good example of that. That's why they didn't want
Mhm.
Americans in there, and yeah, yep. So the big beautiful bill, people, stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that one because that's the impact is going to linger on for years to come. That's why that's my number one more than any of this stuff. The
Mhm.
government shutdown we're gonna blow over. The Charlie Kirk is gonna eventually fade. The Palisades fire that's being resolved. The Doge thing that's already irrelevant.
Yeah.
But definitely the ice raids that should probably be my number two. Now think of it this way, that's gonna still
Yeah.
come, and the Epstein debacle. I think that might continue. Who knows? And yeah, that
Yeah.
that's those are things I said could be big, but a lot of it will be blown over. 2026, who knows? What we're going to talk about probably
Yeah.
gerrymandering scandals, or definitely affordability crisis hoax, or whatever the heck.
Yeah.
I mean, and definitely the midterms. Are they fair? Is the referendum for Trump the Republican Party? We'll see. I think it's going to be definitely in the House, so that's what I'm going to say. All right, let
Yeah.
me let me zip it. I think I already talked more than long enough.
Okay. So, well, it's just so interesting because you can approach this top 10 list from so many different angles if you think about it. Like, I didn't even think about, okay, well, what are the lasting impacts going to be? And that's a very good way to think about it. So I kind of hinted my number one was kind of a placeholder. My list was made more with emotions, I guess, than any other strategy. And I just felt like I couldn't put Charlie Kirk as not number one. Um, so I know that might be disappointing for some because, like you said, there's not like I don't know. Um, it doesn't really affect politics that much, but in a ways it does because as someone who's vocal about being a conservative, I have certainly received a lot of hateful messages that ramped up after Charlie Kirk's death. I think it or murder, not death. I think it emboldened some of the extremists. I mean, you you wouldn't believe the ugly shit that someone has the ugly things, the horrible, horrible, cruel things that have been said to me as someone who's not even far right. I mean, just for sticking up for something or calling something out, and just basically like, well, this is what you get with your white hatred and and it's so he was very influential, but he wasn't a politician. And, I know people are like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't have to point out that you don't agree with someone." Well, I've been pretty vocal that I don't think that religion belongs in politics. And so, um, I, of course, didn't agree with every point he made or everything that he said because I don't believe that religion should be a deciding factor for any sort of policy. And, or even a way to judge somebody's way of life. Like, just because you believe that the Christian way of life is the best way doesn't mean it is, and doesn't mean that that fits in somebody else's plan. Uh, but he always gave the microphone to someone else who's willing to talk. And as you mentioned, he had a big impact on the young male vote, kind of turning them conservative. And you had also mentioned like kind of like men are not acting like men anymore sometimes, and I think that that's what really embraced them is that or made them embrace Charlie Kirk is they felt like it was okay to be a male again. And it wasn't until his death that I realized how many people were watching him that had never mentioned it. Like I knew my husband was kind of watching his clips. I didn't know he was watching his clips every day. And yeah, just it's been interesting, but that's why I put it as number 1 is just the impact that he had on other people.
No, yeah, I definitely got more to add to that. And no, look, this is the thing I say. Like when a lot of people do their top tens, unless they're represented by a company, they had to reach their
Mhm.
consensus. Look, and I won't be lying to say if it's some of this had my personal bias. It was definitely laced into this, especially if I had to do it
Yeah.
quick. Think about it. Charlie Cook was supporting me. He ended up being my number 6 because I do. realize, especially looking a little deeper, how big the impact was. Even those on
Mhm.
the left who disagree with him respected his character. Normally they will bash, give tea like there's no tomorrow about the
Yeah.
other side. Oh, you think he's such a nice guy? Oh no, I no, he acts worse than the left. Oh yeah, he's into this and that. This one likes trannies, even he acts transphobic in public. Well, that's old school training. He likes transgenders, even though he acts transphobic. Things like you hear
Yeah.
exposés normally for the other
Yeah.
side. But a lot of people respect Charlie Kirk. They agree with him, but he did respect Charlie Kirk. Even one of them, Dean Withers, he cried. Someone on the
Really?
left cried. He broke
Yeah.
down. He
Yeah.
really broke down, and he wasn't even acting. He said, "Look, I wanted to. I was good. He was going to debate with him next week.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah, yeah, and that would have been a good debate because someone who
god.
could
Mhm.
actually. I don't agree with everything. When it comes to internet censorship, I definitely. Well, I don't agree with both of them because the right says they're against censorship, but they do their own version of it, which I'm very
Mhm.
critical of. The left, they use slick terms. I said, no, you're for censorship. Shut up. Yeah, Brad Palumbo destroyed him on that part. I said, yeah, I agree with Brad Palumbo. He's definitely in the center right, and I could
Mhm.
yeah. Sometimes I will be hanging out with the center right. I could be cloaking with the center right. That's how similar I could sound. Even though some of my policies definitely favor the left, like healthcare and social
Yeah.
issues. Immigrants, yeah, I'm center left. I'm never progressive left because I hate open borders.
Yeah.
Hated. Definitely, we need to be welcoming immigrants. We need to make it easier for them. That's the most left I'm willing to go, but not open
Mhm.
border. Hell no. Okay.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk, yeah, a respectable person. I can tell you he's a great soul. Of course, I never met him. I don't agree with him. Some things he said was silly and all that, but look, he
Yeah.
did try to fight for freedom of speech. He's one of the only people on the right I could say who genuinely tried to fight
Mhm.
for freedom of speech. I could
Mhm.
respect what he tried to do. I didn't agree with him, but I always had that. Yeah, he tried to do
Yeah.
well. He tried to do well. And again, I'm going to mention the social media left. Very disgusting. Oh, boo hoo, why
Yeah.
can't I? I was like, are you serious? You make this into a race issue? What the
Yeah.
hell is wrong with you? You got plenty of time to bring that up. Maybe during a city hall meeting instead of just spewing in social media, TikTok and Instagram, you freaking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very disgusted with this with the social media dummies in their
Yeah.
late teens and early 20s spewing such garbage. They're the only reason they seem smart because they sound sassy with their clippable lines. They're
Mhm.
not that intelligent once you challenge them and question
Yeah.
them. They don't know basic civics. We need to bring civics back. I agree with some Republicans who want to
Mm.
bring civics back. These kids know nothing. I know
Yeah.
Sangamo, they know nothing. Nothing. Okay. Okay.
100% agree.
Let me so
S
so that
so
uh,
sorry,
go
what?
ahead. No, go
Oh,
ahead. No,
okay.
I'm just coming down for the little rant I had
I know.
for the ignorance.
Yeah. So, Erica Kirk has received a lot of, judgment, which unfortunately it just kinda does happen when anyone loses a spouse and they're in the public eye. Eh, and I've had responses to it as well. Like, when she announced that she forgave Tyler Robinson, I'm like, "This is, like, so fresh. How could you forgive him already?" But I do think that she explained, like, her way of forgiving, him is not exactly the way I was interpreting it. More so like she's gonna choose to not focus on him. Um, and, she suddenly is the CEO or whatever of Turning Point USA, so, as someone myself who can compartmentalize things, I get it. First off, I run on anger so well. Like, if someone were to murder my husband, I would be so angry, I wouldn't be crying. I wouldn't be a crying mess. I'd be on a fucking warpath, you know? And then she's also got to run Turning Point USA. So I think, and then there's the point like, well, no one sees me what I'm doing when the camera's off. Um, so I feel horrible that not only is her husband dead, but now she's getting like torn apart in the news, and I myself have caught myself, like I said, kind of judging a little bit like, oh, that's a little like, do we why are we doing so many events? But also she explained, she's like, well, should my husband's message die with him? So yeah. And Candace, I really liked that she was looking into his death. There are so many suspicious things involved in that. And I like that she is looking into it, because as we've kind of established throughout this episode, our faith in the FBI is not really there. Um, and but yeah, some of the stuff is like, people pointing like, well, you're making how much money off of talking about this? And it's like, yeah, a lot of it's like, why are you even going into this? You're kind of beating a dead horse. And then also, yeah, you're kind of, I don't know, painting people in a bad light with maybe not as enough evidence to be doing that. What's your opinion on all of it?
Yeah, I was in and out of that, in and out of listening cancel and so that. So I correct me if I misspoke because this is not one of my main things I focus on.
Uh-huh.
But I did hear rumblings here and there, and some of my sources are secondhanded. So just take what I say with a grain of salt
Okay.
as a disclaimer. Yeah, no, cancel. I do respect the fact that she's looking into it because there are some things that look a bit off
Mhm.
about it. I mean, why wasn't someone alerting security quick enough that there's a shooter on the
Yeah.
roof? That needs to be looked into. And why I this is probably a retroactive and probably insensitive question, but it needs to be asked though. Why didn't have I don't know at least minimally effective security when it comes to these events? It was very open tent, it was open field,
Mhm.
and there was a lot of opportunity. And I'm sure this guy got help, the murderer. He has to have
Yeah.
help to get in there
Yeah.
easily. I mean, these are theories. There's some I could agree with, but I'm not going to hear, I don't want to hear Israel's involved, all this crazy. This one gets bonkers. Give
Yeah.
me proof that they're involved, then I'm willing to listen. But don't spread that. And look, anti-Semitism is already through the roof as well. Just
Mhm.
that doesn't help with that issue as well, and definitely Islamophobia.
Okay, so I have more thing to say about that, and then I want your predictions on any 2026 scandals you may have. So, the only other thing I have is that I watched an interview with Erica Kirk, and Glenn Beck, and as far as the trial, the Tyler Robinson trial, it looks like it's like they had like a preliminary thing, but it looks like they're not going to go to actual trial until like May 2026. And she said that it may not be over until the end of 2026, maybe early 2027. So I will be interested to hear how that turns out, because or how the trial goes, just because it, like you had kind of mentioned, it doesn't seem like it's something that he could have done himself. So yeah.
No, thanks for mentioning that. I tend to forget these things. So yeah, I'm going to be interested too because I'm just curious about how this filth, when I say like that, was
Mhm.
able to get a good, clean
Yeah.
shot on this guy. That's why I'm really curious about. So I'll be interested as well. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. What do you think we're going to see as far as big political events or any sort of scandal in 2026?
2026. Anyone who can't afford anything, they're gonna point at anybody as a scam.
Yeah.
These rich people, these billionaires and trillionaires. Oh, hi there,
Sorry about
cat.
that. That's never happened before.
Hey, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm a cat person.
Yeah. He just yeah. Anyways, yeah, I have like my bed's like right next to my pod desk, so he just usually just hangs out over there. But anyways, if anyone thinks I didn't throw my cat across the room, he's sitting right next to me on the bed. He's fine. Laying it on his feet. So
Yeah. So
but
Peter, calm down.
yeah.
Pet people, calm
Yeah.
down. Because I know how they get. They get.
Yeah.
It's disturbing how. Yeah, care about animals fine, but I think they care about way too much more than human beings. So she could
Yeah.
bash my head open, they won't care as much. But
Yeah.
when it comes to the pet, oh, even the thing that looks wrong.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it looked like she tossed it, but no, she did. She just the cat was placed
And
nicely.
just
Trust me,
over the
I
camera.
actually would have. you would have called you would call my IRA that did no. I said nope, take the cat away from her. I would preach for that real quick. No, but anyways, hey,
Yeah.
these
Yeah,
things
he's
happen. I
he's
saw dog interruptions. All this. Hey, look at that other guest. That's how I want to joke that is my thing. And I was say, hey, bring the cat. I want to
yeah.
say meow. Let's make up translation. I don't want to be
Yeah.
here. I'm just showing off. I'm aura farming, trying to be cool. But
Yeah.
hey,
If
I'm all
he
for it.
if he would sit, like he just doesn't like stay still, but this is Michael Scott, so this is the baby. But anyways.
Yeah, he's already looking a bit bored. So, okay, I already got my
Yeah,
three
yeah,
seconds
he
of fame.
doesn't
Yeah. Yeah, he's already Lawson. I already got my little clippable moment
yeah,
if it's
yeah, I'm famous
possible. Yeah.
already, so yeah. Anyways.
No.
But
2020, I mean, scandals. I'm sure we're gonna hear more about Epstein. America's trying to drag crap out like this.
yeah.
And definitely, we're gonna hear plenty of political scandals because I'm sure Democrats want to take down as much Republicans as possible, and the Republicans have to defend and therefore take down the Democrats as much as possible. Scandals on 2026, especially definitely in the House and the Senate. I could definitely see some things cooking up there
Mhm.
because that's where the election is going to be at. And these things tend to be released with people running for office. I don't
Yeah.
know what they are. I don't have the details. Trust me, I don't have an oracle. I wish I did. I would have spoiled you some of them already. But I'm gonna just repeat my prediction again. Democrats gonna take the House, maybe
Mhm.
with a 5 seat to at most 10 seat majority, and then for the Senate, Republicans are gonna have a net loss of two, making it 51-49, favoring Republicans, barely. So
Yeah.
you only have one dissenter when it comes to the some majority, and then when it comes to that 60, that just avoid a filibuster. We're gonna definitely have lot more filibusters in the Senate
Yeah. Yeah.
because you need 60 to avoid that, and if you need to do gymnastic messaging framework with the moderate Democrats because even they're showing they're not willing to budge as easily unless they see negative impact that's hurting their constituents.
Mhm.
So far it's about think like 10 of them that are considered moderate Dems right now, like 8 to 10 maybe. But yeah, you definitely got to do some political mental gymnastics to get them to avoid a filibuster, and that's not happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
So I don't have like any major predictions for 2026. I think it's really going to depend um on how the elections go. And I know that Trump is going to be basically campaigning for all these people that he wants to win and is going to be putting a lot of resources into it. But and I know that Speaker Johnson said that they were going to work on codifying like 150 of Trump's executive orders. If the House does not get their asses moving, the Republicans are gonna take a loss. That's my only prediction is if they don't start doing something, they're the whole I mean, basically the whole year is gonna be shit, I think I think, you know? And nothing has turned out as expected. Nothing has turned out to be near as big as promised other than the immigration crisis. The Epstein files, I've given up hope on any sort of bombshell release on that. The JFK files were a flop, the MLK files, the RFK files, like all of them didn't really reveal anything that no one already knew. Um, so I guess I'm kind of looking at 2026 as just blah. I don't, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope like the big stories aren't more attacks and murder. I guess is all I'm hoping for.
Well, that's definitely a cynical take.
I know.
I no, no,
Sorry.
but I mean, no, I'll be sorry. I mean, I'd rather have an honest, harsh truth than like a beautiful lie. That's how I deal with life. No, but the 2026. I don't know what's gonna happen. I know affordability is gonna be the big buzzword that's gonna be thrown around. That's all I know.
Mhm.
Affordability, affordability, affordability. That's the biggest buzzword I'm right hearing right now, and Democrats are gonna definitely run with it. Has your grocery
Mhm.
prices got better under Trump? I'm sure that's gonna be a big playbook that's gonna flip some of these seats.
Yeah.
And I agree. And they want to codify these laws. You only really got about a year left, 1 year
Mhm.
left. So, and trust me, a lot of that's gonna be spent campaigning. So, in
Yep.
reality, is not much time left.
Yeah. Yep.
So, it
I
really
agree.
isn't.
I mean, if we end 2026 with more money in our pocket and things are affordable, I'll be very happy about it. Yeah, Trump did mention that in his speech last night that they need to do better, and I feel like that probably took a lot for him to say, and I'm happy that he did that. Um, so I do think he's taking it seriously, and will work towards it. I don't know.
There is a chance that Republicans can keep the House if they definitely get their act together.
Hmm.
Especially with this gerrymandering redistricting, which made it to my top 10.
Yeah.
Um, if they do that, well, not if they already did the redistricting, then what they need to do is definitely do better because you just gave yourself just a cheap cushion, and that cushion can get dirty, contaminated, destroyed real quick, especially if you keep fucking up the way you are going right now. The current trajectory is you're gonna lose the house.
Hmm.
So the changes need to be happening, and that's good. As a leader, you have to say things you don't want to say
Yeah.
to get things going. You can't do all the things you want to do. You gotta make the hard choices. That's part of being a real leader.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I be leader when I need to be, not when I want to be. Because people want
Yeah.
to be leader, they normally egomaniacs. People who don't want to be leader turn out to be great leaders. They just I
Yeah.
want to be on the power trip and all this, but all right, Trump. Yeah, I'll give you 5 little points on maturity there. Yeah, whip your party to shape if you want to keep the
Hmm.
house, especially.
Yep.
You know, and they could be upsets. You're right. They could be upsets that Democrats could take the Senate instead of the House. That's a small possibility too. Nothing is for certain, and I
Yeah.
could be wrong on my predictions. I am always willing to admit that for sure. So I look forward to 2026, and my
Yeah.
goal, I'm just gonna say this publicly, I'm gonna try to get the Jade into politically high tech. There you go.
Yep.
Keep this collaboration going because this is great. It's been great having a conversation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think and my pressure, I already knew you was like center right. I never saw
Hmm.
you as definitely MAGA. So you if I put you next to MAGA, you definitely sound definitely more liberal compared to them.
Yeah.
If I'm
Yeah.
about putting the scale, say I think in scales. I don't think, oh, okay, she's far right. Oh, I'm far left. I've been called
Yeah.
many names. I'm even called a libertarian. Like, what? I said, I don't agree with libertarians. Like, their war things just don't be involved and let the enemy
Yeah.
take over. I said, no, I'm more with I'm with the Republicans with the war thing.
Yeah.
Look, I wish it was a better way. I wish the Democrat. Look, at first I started as a Democrat with that, but I realized their ways don't work because they don't understand you gotta beat the enemy, and then
Right.
and
Yeah.
then and then you can implement change. Republicans sometimes they beat the enemy too much and they get too damn strong.
Yep.
So there's a balancing act right there, people. But I'm gonna say if out of the two, I'll say I generally lean with the right with the geopolitics, generally speaking, with some
Hmm.
exceptions and caveats
Right.
to it. Russia
Yeah.
Ukraine war, even though they make it to my top 10, because I'm just tired of hearing it. That's why I
Same.
didn't bother putting the damn thing in there. This is not making it to my top 10
Nope.
until there's a freaking peace done. That's the only way
Yep.
it's gonna make it to the top 10. Other than that, it's been the same soap opera, dragging the damn thing. Just more Ukrainians killing Russians and vice versa.
Hmm.
That's it. And none of them is willing to talk. They say they are, but trust me, let's be real. None of them are willing to talk. So
Yeah. Yep.
that's what I'm going to say about that. That's why I didn't make it to my list at all. It's
Yep.
same shit, different day.
That's exactly why I didn't put it in, because I'm like, okay, so what actually has been accomplished? Nothing. Nothing. You can say, oh, we're closer all you want. I've been hearing that all year. So yeah, totally agree. So,
All right, that's
anyways.
understandable. I mean, for my pipeline, if I'm going to just do a shameless plug-in real quick, I got a hip hop I got a hip hop expert. That's as a
Yeah.
holiday surprise. Yep, and he's gonna come out the 23rd. This is the last editing I'm doing for the year.
Okay.
Don't bother me. And if you do, people, except for those who know me well, she could bother me. She's except yes, I am that unfair. I don't care.
Yeah. Yep. I
Okay, I
agree.
think I already
All
said
right.
More than
Well,
enough. But if you got any more questions,
I don't
I'm
think
gonna
so.
start with my own ranting and
Yeah.
spewing and all of that good
Yeah.
stuff.
Nope, I don't think I have anything else other than I'll keep in touch. This episode will be out the 21st, and I'll send you the links. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm kind of ramping up for doing things a little bit differently for 2026 to hopefully be a little bit more effective. So we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck.
Yeah, no, I got my own changes. So that one is a tease for my final episode. That's gonna be definitely after New Year's. Say it'll be
Yeah.
changed for season 8. It's gonna be definitely something. I'm gonna try to do some lives. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be interesting. And so, if you're gonna call me bumbling like a fool, you have your fun enjoyment there. And then, or I do great, I'm shocked as well. Okay,
Yeah.
you'll be the only one shocked. And then I'll have a new studio set up by then because it won't be the same boring. It's gonna be probably definitely more characters and things like that has relevance to this podcast. You can see more political stuff, more tech stuff, and definitely more spiritual stuff, and especially the background because I want to just not just have my artwork, but everything is gonna be elevated and
Yeah.
it's gonna look interesting. It's gonna look probably as beautiful as some of the YouTubers, and and I God willing, and probably have a podcast set for those who want to do it in person. I'm gonna try to do well that I'm not I can't promise that, but what I'm gonna do is
Yeah.
definitely those changes and all that. In
Yeah.
person stuff, maybe that's the most I can say. Maybe TBD, but the live
Mhm.
stuff is gonna happen at some point. Especially the days I'm not bringing a guest. Probably Mondays and Friday nights. We'll
Yeah.
see. Now this to be decided about. It's a little bit I'm gonna say about the changes for season 8 for
Yeah.
Politically High Tech. So we're gonna be around, and new episodes gonna be released. I'll say mid 2026. I don't want to give myself a tough deadline just yet.
Yeah.
Mid
Yeah.
2026. So that's my little teaser, and
Sounds
that's it.
good.
And definitely stay listening to Shades of J, people. Come on, stay
I
listening to that as
appreciate
well.
that. Well, I guess we'll leave it at that. And yeah, hope everyone has a happy new year.
Bye.
Mhm.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, Happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you
Yep,
celebrate.
all of it.